Okay, so to get our brain focused on elapsed time today, I want us to practice skip counting together. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to point as we skip count by 5 minutes together. Are you ready? 105, 110, 115, 120, 125, 130, 135, 140, 145, 150, 155, 2 o'clock. And now I'm going to look at this and I'm going to underline some familiar times, some times that are easy for me to work with. So 2 o'clock is an easy time for me. 1:30 is an easy time for me. 1:15 is an easy time for me because I know that that is when the minute hand is pointing to the 3. Okay, so the minute hand is pointing this way inside, if a clock was here, okay? So it would be pointing that way. So those are some easy times for me. 1:45 is the opposite, okay? That's an easy time for me because I know if we had half a clock, the minute hand would be pointing at the 9, okay? And so that's just from years and years and years of practice. Those are things that I have ingrained in my brain, okay? So now we're going to look at our problem here. So you can find this on slide 1 on Everyday Math Online, lesson 1-6, day 1, or you can find it on Math Journal, page 10. Okay, so Sheena's math class began at 9:55, and I'm going to underline that, and ended at 11:10 a.m. She started to figure out how long the class lasted. She used a number line. Use Sheena's number line to complete the problem. You may use toolkit clocks or other tools to help you. Tell the length of time in hours and minutes. And then math class lasted blank hours and blank minutes. Okay, so we're really going to dig into this problem, okay? So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to underline the important information, okay? So the important information is that class began at 9:55 and it ended at 1:10. Okay? She's trying to figure out how long, and we'll just circle the math words, how long class lasted. So that tells us she's looking for the elapsed time. Do you remember that word from yesterday? Okay? That doesn't mean we need to be worried because it's a big scary word. That means we're looking for the difference. Okay? It just means we're looking for the difference. Okay, and I shortened that word to diff. Okay? So now I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay? So what tool did Sheena use? Okay, she uses a tool. If you thought that her open number line here, or number line, is the tool she used, you would be correct. Okay? How did she start? Okay, she started by drawing a line, of course, and she marks the starting time here. I'm going to change my color again. She marks the starting time here at 9:55. Okay? Now I want you to think, what do her hops represent? Okay, and when I mean hops, I mean the space underneath her arrows. I might call them jumps, I might call them hops, but I'm talking about that. what does that represent in this problem? Okay, if you thought that was the time passing, you are correct. Okay, so what does she write above the hops? If you wrote the time that passes, okay, or if you thought the time that passes, you are correct. But down here, she also writes the time on the clock. So as she's jumping 5 minutes, she's writing the new time. That's 5 minutes later. As she jumps 1 hour, she's writing the new time underneath. When she jumps 10 minutes, she's writing the new time underneath. So, what familiar times did she use? Okay, so she got to 10 o'clock, just like 2 o'clock was a time that I like to work with on the previous page. She got to 10 o'clock and then 11 o'clock. Those are familiar times. She knew that they were 1 hour apart. Okay? So now, how are we going to find the total? Okay, let's think about these minutes we have here. 5 minutes, 1 hour, 10 minutes. Okay, so we have 5 minutes plus 1 hour plus 10 minutes. I know that I need to bring this hour to the front, okay, because when we write it, we always write the hour first. Now I need to add these minutes together. 5 plus 10 is 15 minutes. Okay, so if I scroll back up, if I scroll back up, I can write in here 1. It's hard to see past that time. One hour and 15 minutes. Okay? And now I can go on. Because the next part of the question asks, explain Sheena's strategy in your own words. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, guys. Okay. Explain Sheena's strategy in your own words. Okay? So I'm going to clear some of this writing and we're going to talk about what you need to write. Okay? Again, just like yesterday, I need you writing in complete sentences. And it may not seem like a big deal, but it really will help me understand what you're saying. Okay? So when you're doing this, I want you can either type on this screen, okay, or you can write it, but you're going to start with first, Sheena did something. So you have to tell me what she did. Then, those good connecting words, she did something, okay? It's your job to tell me what. The hops on the number line start at, okay? The hop shows, okay? So you're telling me all of the things that Sheena has done, okay? And so we walked through that, so you should be able to write that down pretty easily, okay? And you're going to use that information to solve the problem on slide 3 of Everyday Math Online, or the open response PDF from the slide, or if you're in class, I will pass out the paper to you, okay? So I want you to be working on that and really focus on answering the question.